One image you can usually count on seeing in the wake of a storm like Sandy is the countless vehicles floating in the floodwaters. But what happens to all those cars and trucks? Some people try to sell them and hope the buyer will never know about that little water issue. As we found out today, there are about 400,000 such vehicles in and around New York State, which is making it a big issue. Is that the kind of car that you'd want to own?
No.
Jason Hamilton of Niski Unit Tire knows a thing or two about cars, and certainly enough to walk away from any vehicle for sale that had ever sustained flood damage.
So you could buy a car that seems perfectly sound, no problems, but because of that damage with the water, that's something that's going to come and bite you later.
Very well could.
Hamilton says all the electronic components in cars these days don't typically have a very long life after getting wet. Unfortunately, plenty of waterlogged vehicles are out there now, and Governor Andrew Cuomo wants to make sure you don't get stuck buying one.
There's 250,000 vehicles in New York State that were directly impacted by Sandy, and approximately 150,000 other vehicles between New Jersey and Connecticut.
Owen McShane is the chief field investigator for the State Department of Motor Vehicles. He says the final insurance company auctions of Sandy-damaged cars have been completed, and unscrupulous types may be looking to make a buck. That's why they've requested the VIN numbers of the cars reported as being damaged in the storm.
All those VINs have been shared with DMV, and we have marked our records that it was a totaled vehicle by an insurance company.
McShane says they're already getting reports from out of state that Sandy-damaged vehicles are being sold, so it's just as likely it's happening here. If you find what appears to be a good deal and the VIN number is not on the damaged list, you can still check a couple of things yourself to play it safe.
Certain spots that you can get to easily, such as like behind the glove box or up underneath the dash, you could check and see if there's any sort of like water line in there, like heavy silt.
Now, DMV investigator Owen McShane says if you buy a flooded car from a used car dealer, you do have recourse, but that if it's a private sale, you're probably stuck. For more information or to check that list of VIN numbers, visit the online version of this story at cbs6albany.com.